After such a battle, I order the medicinal reserves to be opened. They've earned it. Upon arriving at Sunrock, I turn in several contracts. Having so many men under my command is no longer necessary. I take advantage of the situation to free a few slaves. Unfortunately, Sunrock isn't a producer, and transport offers are nearly non-existent. Renkailon.
Yes, Vagrus?
To whom does your loyalty lie?
To the one who pays me. Why do you ask?
Every elf I've met so far seems to serve either Prince Laekor or his enemies. You're the only dark elf I've seen who appears free, independent.
Let's just say I've settled my obligations to the prince. Partly thanks to you, Vagrus. I'd say I'm a rare case, since a lone dark elf is usually either an exile or a pariah.
The raid on the Vagrus garrison proved quite lucrative. Know this, Renkailon. I have not forgotten your request, and I will give you an answer in the coming days. The prince is delighted to hear of the fall of the Vagrus out in the jagged waste. He asks me again and again to recount the exact way his enemies fell before my companions. Noticing my rising impatience, Laekor finally says with a faint smile,
"You might see us as pathetic right now. But understand this, Vagrus. Our feud is a heritage of hundreds of years of conflict, and victories such as this one truly make a difference. We are merely happy."
The prince then beckons his majordomo and informs me that, although he cannot offer me payment now, the colony has some surplus mushrooms I can take as a reward. He then leans back and closes his eyes, no doubt picturing the deaths of the Vagrus henchmen.
Do not worry, Vagrus. Prince Laekor always pays his debts.
Vagrus, forgive me for insisting, but do you think we could ask the prince if he has any information about the tattoo?
I turn to the majordomo to see if the prince might grant me a favor. The majordomo stares at me for a moment before disappearing into the room to inform the prince. A few minutes later, the majordomo returns and invites us to come in. Upon hearing my inquiry, the prince rises and his court falls silent.
Our friend the Vagrus and the sorceress are guests of the Laekor and are to be assisted in their investigation.
He then turns to me and speaks more quietly to Finndurarth.
Go now. We hope that you shall find what you are looking for, and that it enables you to avenge yourself upon these malcontents.
After that, a courtier takes us to a chamber where we interview several agents of the prince about what they might know.
So, to sum up all the information, we can conclude that it turns out that the strange tattoo had appeared once before in Devon in late 1105. It was linked to a mysterious string of murders, in which the main suspect pursued by the authorities was found bearing the same tattoo, though already dead. Those involved in the case, directly or indirectly, theorized that the man had indeed committed the crimes, but was later eliminated by his associates after making some mistake. The victims of the killing spree all had regular dealings with mercenaries, fences, pimps, slavers, but no one ever discovered why the tattooed man did what he did. The murderer belonged to this organization. He must have a hideout somewhere. Where could we go?
Westward. There is quite some demand towards Sunrock, Ash, and Avernum, though I do not know how to reach Avernum.
Perhaps they will have a route map there.
We shall see when we come to Ash. In the meantime, I ask you not to seek information in Devon. We mustn't let our enemies know we're looking for them.
I understand, Vagrus.
The next journey is likely to cost me money, so I'm taking as many contracts to Sunrock as I can, along with plenty of food supplies for the road. I'm also bringing a few crates of linen for Ash.
understand we're heading to Avernum.
That's right.
Do you think we'll have time to take part in the arena at Avernum? I heard a lot about it back when I was a gladiator.
I see no reason against it, especially since I plan to stay there for a few days to study the market, and perhaps meet a few influential people. I'll leave it to you to prepare the others for a potential arena match.
It will be done.
The merchants of Sunrock, as always, are more than pleased to see me arrive with my wagons full of food supplies. While my men unload the pack beasts, I take the opportunity to look around the place. The central underground hall of Sunrock is teeming with activity. This is certainly the most densely populated and busy part of the settlement, never really at rest. A multitude of tunnels and caves open from the large cavern here, harboring markets, workshops, taverns, and the like. A colorful mix of people from all around the wider region is constantly swarming the streets. Traders from Devon, crystal harvesters, miners, lowlifes, Calrish, Sadirar, and thugs. In the middle of the circular central cave, named Wormslayer Hall, a huge statue stands depicting some kind of local hero. The citizens seem to hold him in high reverence, as most of them bow their heads curtly when passing it, and some even bring small offerings. The monument is quite an impressive sight. Standing about 15 feet tall, and made from a combination of marble, clay, and even crystal, it depicts a mighty, stern-looking warrior holding a fearsome spear, resting his right foot on the scales of some serpentine creature he's vanquished. The statue's pedestal is surrounded by small, obscure gifts and offerings, coins, dried herbs, figures carved from bone, even small pieces of crystal. Some of these are quite valuable from the look of them. Strangely enough, nobody tries to snatch them, even though Sunrock has its fair share of shady visitors. I stop a passerby and inquire whom the monument depicts. I learn that it commemorates the hero Levendius and the time when the first people came to the system of caves that are now Sunrock.
Following the calamity, our ancestors fled from an underground vault and were badly battered by evil storms and horrid worm creatures, and thought they had reached salvation when they arrived at the site of present-day Sunrock. The king of the worms itself dwelt here and dug the holes and tunnels, eating its own spawn as likely as our ancestors. But Levendius hunted and slew the beast, thus giving our people a fighting chance and a new home. He has been worshipped here ever since.
Thank you. I decide to take a walk through some of the corners of the settlement, especially after hearing strange rumors about a merchant. The shop is located in a frequented part of the central hub, albeit hidden in an alley, opening behind a chaotic row of vendors and stands. From the outside, it appears rather unassuming. Its entrance is a narrow slit in the rock wall, with only a small crystal lamp, and a modest display rack of various herbs, indicating that there is a business inside. I descend a narrow set of stairs, before entering a cool, musty room that is much larger than one would expect from the outside. It looks like a warehouse rather than a shop, and an abandoned one at that. Earthenware containers, covered with moldy linen sheets, line the walls in wild disarray, and there is no sign of any traditional display of wares. The few items that lie in sight are pure junk, bits and pieces of disassembled traveling equipment, jars containing ominous substances, and the occasional dull, dirty, and broken crystal. At the back of the cave, various small tunnels lead deeper underground. The only outstanding object is a huge statue of predominantly alabaster color depicting a muscular humanoid, its features a strange mixture of majesty and dread. Its closed-eyed face is symmetrical and handsome, one could even say noble, but curled horns sprout from its forehead, while its neck, shoulders, and upper arms are covered in bony outgrowths. The statue opens its deep blue, pupilless eyes and looks down upon me.
Welcome to my place. What brings you here?
I realize that it is not a statue at all, but an ogre, and a curious one at that. How strange to meet one here in a small shop.
I apologize if I startled you. I was deep in thought. Allow me to introduce myself. Khaledisthar's the name, but you can call me Khaled, and you were probably brought here by my store's reputation.
There is no denying that. I ask him what kind of wares he has to sell, somewhat skeptically. At that, Khaledisthar smiles knowingly, displaying a row of immaculate teeth, like perfect pearls.
Oh, this and that, depending on what I can get. The flow of trade goods is ever-changing here in Sun Rock, but that's no trouble. I am quite flexible, which, by the way, is why you don't see anything on display. My place is officially registered as a mere warehouse, for some of my merchandise is of a rather delicate and uncategorizable nature. It's much easier this way, both for the imperial bureaucracy and for me. I can look around in my stash for something that might interest you, if you are so inclined.
I'm intrigued. Could you tell me more about yourself?
Ah, that again.
He smiles, not unkindly. I'm certainly not the first one to inquire.
What does an ogre do here in Sun Rock of all places? Running a business instead of wandering the wastelands, attacking folk on sight, or howling in a cell, chained to a cold wall with iron. That was certainly a probable prospect back in the days, back when I arrived in the realms. I was rounded up by the legions and not thrown into an arena. I'm sure you've already seen the local one?
An arena? I'll have to talk to Gorgoro about it.
Doesn't matter. My masters expected me to soon fall prey to the Taint, which, admittedly, most of my kind do sooner or later, it seems.
The Taint?
The Taint, you see, ever since the calamity. Strange mutations and arcane afflictions have become quite common across the continent. The Taint is the most infamous of them, the one everyone fears. People believe it's some kind of disease, a contagion that can't be cured. But the truth is, no one really knows how it spreads. In fact, no one's ever proven whether it can even pass from one person to another.
He pauses and absent-mindedly touches the bony growths on his neck.
But not me. Not like that, anyway. After seeing how I refused to turn into beast-like arena fodder, thus robbing the public of the bloody spectacle they'd hoped for, yet at the same time displayed rather exceptional skills in numbers and logistics, they put me in charge of the arena's administration, which I handled exceptionally well. After a while, I was even able to buy my freedom. And well, here I am, managing numbers and wares. Now, are you interested in those wares?
With pleasure.
Please give me a minute.
Khaled disappears into one of the tunnels, leading away from the central room. I can hear him rummaging, and after a while, he returns with a sack full of various items.
That would be my current stash. Browse at your leisure.
The sack contains a variety of curious items. Gods only know where Khaled managed to get them. This one carries a vial of antitoxin, something that will prove very useful if trouble arises along the road. I'm intrigued by a bag of spectral dust. It's the first time I've seen any collected. I also found an ancient stone tablet that speaks of the time before the calamity.
Thank you for your purchase. Anything else you'd like to buy?
No, thank you for your time. Gorgoro, would you be interested in a fight in the local arena?
Well, why not?
Sun Rock's arena is not really worthy of the name compared to those in larger imperial cities. It's little more than a hole dug into the cavern floor on the town's outskirts. The word cesspit comes to mind upon inspecting it. The whole shebang is run by Yudish, a former imperial scribe of ill repute. A small, smelly, wiry excuse for a man. Seeing me approach, he wriggles his spider-like hands.
In for a brawl?
Apparently, this fighting pit is one where small groups of combatants face off every now and then. We'd like to sign up for the next fight. Udish's smile has to be one of the ugliest sights I have ever glimpsed, yet it is somehow promising at the same time.
So, you want to have your fighter enter the pit? It'll cost you, you know, except if you're going up against Ma Champion. But the rewards are equally great. Rules are simple. 2 groups walk in, 1 comes out. I set up the fights, and there's a bit of a gamble. You won't know exactly what you're up against ahead of time. That's the game. So, walk the line or chicken out?
We're in. Udish greedily pockets my participation fee, then urges me into the fighters' warrens.
Just in time. The next fight is about to begin.
Through a raised portcullis, we step into the pit, and so do our opponents on the other side. We face a ragtag duo of northern outlaws, quite unintimidating in their own right, were it not for the huge Jakra they herd before themselves, with an oversized bone prodder. The beast doesn't seem domesticated at all. Rather, they drive it in our direction, apparently hoping it will do the bulk of the fighting for them in its feral rage. Being mere ruffians, Gorgoro drew first blood with a quick exchange of blows, but the scuffle threw off Garrick's aim. The Jakra struck Harvek in the flank, just as he charged forward, impaling the same foe Gorgoro was fighting. Cries of surprise and shock rise from the crowd as lightning tears through our enemies, allowing Harvek to slash an opponent's throat. The Jakra is wild and agile, dodging one of Finndurarth's spells, while Gorgoro and his opponent clash fiercely. Harvek stepped in to protect Gorgoro from a dirty strike, but took a brutal blow from a mace that knocked him out cold. Garrick missed his mark once again, his target darting about wildly. Gorgoro let out a thunderous roar before cleaving in two the one who had struck Harvek. With the Jakra now alone, it soon took blows from all sides, before Garrick finally finished it off with a bullet to the head. The handful of spectators holler rather unenthusiastically as we defeat our opponents. Upon heading back to the fighters' warrens, Udish begrudgingly hands me my modest prize.
That was a bit underwhelming. Maybe next time we'll find a more challenging fight for you, hey?